James blinked the sweat from his eyes. The salt in the sweat stung, making him want to wipe it away with some kind of cloth. The forest cat on his shoulder felt heavier compared to when he first started heading back to the camp with Mim. Though the monster felt as though it was increasing in weight, James made sure to keep Mim in front of him and not drag the older adventurer. At the same time, he was aware of the sun beginning to disappear as it set. He avoided looking at where the sun was currently at to not lose focus on what he was now doing, though it was tempting for him. I feel like if I do anything aside from looking at Mim's back and maintaining the pace, that I'm going to lose my ability to keep going, he sighed. On top of reaching the camp, he'd need to help get the meal ready. With that in mind, thoughts of going to sleep once they reached the camp were chased from his thoughts. At least Maya and Kate will be there to help me out, James thought. His eyes widened upon paying attention to Mim and realizing that the old adventurer had stopped. "Sam, come over here and help James with the forest cat," Mim called out. Blinking several times, it took a moment for James to realize what was happening and the words said by Mim. Sam laughed. "Mim made you carry this thing back to the camp? Guessing by how long the two of you were gone, I suspect it's been a while with you carrying this thing," he said. A weight was lifted from his body. Registering what happened, James looked to see Sam casually lifting up the forest cat and carrying it. "We'll need to set up a tripod to bleed this thing," Sam said, waving for Neela to come over to where he was. A hand was gently placed on his shoulder. James turned to see it was Mim. "You've done a good job. That wasn't something that anyone could have done," Mim said with a serious expression. James felt himself blush. "I just did what was necessary." He tried to brush aside Mim's words. Shaking his head, Mim said, "No, what you did may have been necessary, but it's not something anyone could have done if they had your level." Hearing the tone in Mim's voice, James wondered if what he had done was indeed as great as Mim was making it out to be. Sensing that James didn't believe him, Mim sighed. "You'll understand what kind of thing you've just accomplished later." Turning his head to look at Sam, Mim said, "I'll have Sam take care of processing the rabbits and forest cat. You take a break." But James started to say, he knew that they were short-handed with a possible threat. "No, I understand that you're worried that we won't have enough people on the perimeter if they're taking care of your task. But if you're too tired, that'll cause us more problems," Mim said. To prevent James from fighting him on the matter, Mim lightly pushed James in the direction of his shelter. "Maya," Mim called out. Maya jumped slightly from having her name called out randomly. She looked at Mim. "Make sure that he gets enough rest. He did something that only someone several levels higher should have done," Mim said. If James wasn't tired from walking through the forest with the forest cat on his shoulder, he would have complained to Mim about assigning Maya to be his babysitter.